Okay, so I just learned about relative links and I wanted to kind of fix up the links on my website and kind of just give a base level overview for myself as reference. So basically, when we're using our relative links here, we can do or we can use links without having to use the absolute path, which is the slash. So when we use absolute paths, things will still work. And as you can see up here in the URL, we go to slash about. But we can take that off of our link path so we don't have to use absolute paths, because since this parent is already absolute, it assumes that the child is a subpath. So since this slash path is already our home element, when we go to about, it'll automatically assume slash about. And that's how we can go ahead and go to our about page and get about. So the same thing goes for shop, and the same thing goes for our login, which is not done. And when we go to our host, we can already assume slash host. We can already assume that it's going to be slash host. And then now all the children, remember, are already going to automatically assume slash host slash income, because these are all children of the host path, which is already going to be assumed as the parent path of these elements because it's a child of this first element. So that might have really sounded confusing. But the thing is, when we go to slash income, we go to slash host slash income because it's a child of this host path. And then the same thing goes for products and reviews. And then if we go even deeper, the product's ID is going to be slash host slash products, and it's going to be slash and then whatever ID. And the reason why we're using product slash ID is because we have to go ahead and use that kind of like a global variable and get the ID of whatever item we click, which I won't go in depth. But basically when we click, we go to the products one, and that is our product. So basically we can do the same thing with our links. So before, our links were, let's see, slash host slash income. And the reason why is because when we go here, we see that that is the route. The route is slash host slash income. So home directory, and then host directory, and then income directory, if that's how a better way to explain. Okay, so yeah, when we go ahead, we assume the slash host and then the slash income. So if we take this away and we just say income, it's weird that it still works, but it's not. Because if we go here to our main and we see that our host layout, which is this component that we're currently in, is being rendered by the route with the path of host, which is a child of the path of our home directory. So this basically means that we can use relative paths inside of our link items or our links or nav links, because basically this is already being assumed that we are in slash host because it's being rendered by the host path. So this is already being assumed that slash host already exists, meaning that we can take off slash host from all of these link items and it will still work correctly. Remember, because when this path of slash host is being rendered, since it's already a child of this uppermost route, which is our home route, it's already assuming slash host. So meaning our host layout will also already assume slash host. And he hasn't went in to explain this first one right here, because if we go to host, I don't know that this will work correctly. So yeah, this will just render up host. So I'll go ahead and update that in a second. And before I update, I want to go ahead and do these real quick. So when we go inside of our products and we click on a product, we already assume that we're going to the product's ID. So I want to go into our products listed detail, and I want to open this real quick, and I want to fix some of these routes. So as you can see, this is a lot of routes. So what I can go ahead and do is I can go ahead and say, hey, since we go back here, since slash products is already assumed, or slash host is already assumed because it's a child of slash host, and slash home route is already assumed because it's a child of the home route as well. When we go to our products listed detail, we can take away, let's start from the top. So this is back to products. This is that. Let's start with our link navigations. So slash host, let's start on this one actually. So slash host, slash products, the param ID, and the pricing. So that takes us to this pricing thing here. We can basically just remove all of this, right? And if we reload, pricing is still going to work perfectly fine. And that's because all of these other ones here are already assumed. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to write a little note. Are already assumed by the parent routes. So why is it already assumed? I want to explain this one more time. So it's already assumed because when we go to the route path, or this parent path, products and ID, that is this part. So this is products, and then this is the ID that we're getting. And then the host is already assumed because it's a child of this host path. So slash host right here. And then the home path is already assumed because of this home path right here, meaning all we have to do is write pricing. And then for photos, we can go ahead and do the same. So photos, and it will probably work correctly. Yep. And even if we go to a different product like the men's watch, it will still work. And this home path is actually weird. So let's see if this will still work. So slash work slash products. If we take away this, let's see if it'll work. And okay, so we are getting a weird type of bug. So yeah, so these top level routes are very weird, but I think he's gonna go over it. But I kind of just wanted to fix my links without having him help. So I'll update because we still haven't fixed this one with the slash host, which opens up our dashboard, because if we just go host, it'll load up host, which is not what we want. And then we'll update the other one, because when we take off these slash host slash products, we get something really weird. And let me show it one more time. So our details here, when we do this, when we just say to, oh, okay. When we just say to our param ID, it'll give us this weird, when we, our details, it'll give us products, ID and ID. So it gives us the ID twice, which is not what we want happening. So go back and refresh, and then it's working correctly again. And I will go ahead and update with the answer. One more thing I want to do here is this will take us to slash host slash products. I think this should stay the same because we're going backwards. So it would make sense that it takes us back. But if he updates that, I will go ahead and update it in my code base as well. All right. So we basically learned the solution. So when we go inside of our host layout and we do slash host, instead we can do slash, or just say dot. And the reason why this works, I'll explain it in a second. So first of all, let me show what happens when we just go to host. So when we go to host, we get slash host, and we don't want that to happen. And the reason why this is happening is because it's taking the parent and then it's nesting /host. So instead, we can just say dot. And when we go back and refresh and we go into the directory, we get it working. And the reason why it's working is similar to how a terminal works. So if we go inside of our terminal real quick and we, let's say, get it loaded up and go inside of our CD GitHub or CD GitHub, we see that when we use the CD dot, what we're going to get back, first of all, let me clear, CD dot, what we're going to get back is our current directory, right? So the current directory is /host. That's the directory that we're on when we render through our main.jsx, the host or the host layout. So when we use CD dot, it's basically just a way of saying, hey, we are at our current home directory. But when we use CD dot dot, we go back, and that is going to be the solution to this link right here. So when we go to our products, and then we click a product and our details, we see, or no, actually not this. This is fine. When we want to go back, so to go back to all products, we have the previous route, which is /host/products. And now what we can do instead, this is something that's built into React, we can just say dot dot, and we go to our previous directory. So that takes us back to host. It won't take us back to all of our listed products. It does take us back to host.